Welcome back, everybody. Here's another excitingly fabulous math lesson. This is math lesson 5. This one has two parts. Part 1, we're going to be talking about evaluating expressions with variables. You might be wondering, what is a variable? Well, a variable is a letter that represents an unknown number in an expression. Here are some examples of some expressions. See if you can spy the variables in each one. Now that we know what a variable is, we're going to talk about what it means to evaluate an expression. Basically, it means that you substitute a value or an amount for the variable and then use order of operations to simplify it. So if I have 3.5 plus x and I know x equals 5, I substitute 5 for the x and I find that the value is 8.5. This one's easy. This expression only has one operation. If I know that m equals 10, I can substitute 10 for m. And that would mean that I am subtracting 4 7/10 from 10, which would be 5 3/10. Well, that last expression only had one operation. What do you do if you have an expression with more than one? You remember this from last week. All you need to do is follow the order of operations. That's right. Think of dear old Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. So looking at this expression, if I know that n is equal to 3, I substitute the n in the expression for 3, and then following the order of operations, I would multiply 3 times 4, which is 12, then add 5, so the value of the expression is 17. Here, I see the value of q is 1 2/10, so all I need to do is substitute 1 2/10 wherever q is in the expression. When I do that, if I follow the order of operations, I end up with 12 5/10. For our last example, we have this expression. Now you'll notice that there's like a slash mark. That's because there's no division sign in Powtoon, which is kind of a bummer. So it's 54 divided by 3 times v. Well, I know if v equals 4, I substitute that in, follow the order of operations, and get 72. Okay, we're ready for part 2 of lesson 5. We're going to talk about writing and evaluating expressions that represent real-world situations. Speaking of real-world situations, here's one. 4 friends earn $24 by washing cars and $M for mowing lawns. They want to divide the total equally. Write an expression for the amount each friend gets. So in this situation, 4 friends are sharing the amount of money they earn by washing cars and mowing lawns. We know that they made $24 washing cars. We don't know how much they made for mowing lawns, but we know that we need to add those two together first and then divide it by 4 to see how much each person gets. Let's say that we knew that they earned $50 mowing lawns. I could put that amount in the equation where the m variable is. So following the order of operations, I would add 24 and 50, get 74. I would divide that by 4 since they're sharing it equally, and each person would get $18.50. How about this situation? There are 2/3 as many students in science club as in math club. If there are m students in math club, how many are in science? So the problem says 2/3 as many students in science club are in math club. You could also say 2/3 of the amount of students in science club are in math club. You heard the word of, that means that you need to multiply. So if we knew that there were 27 students in the math club, we would multiply that amount by 2/3 to figure out how many students were in the science club. So if I do that, I would end up with 54/3, and if I divide that, I would end up with 18. So there are 18 in the science club. Here's one last situation, definitely a good one to know for scientists. To change a temperature in degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, multiply it by 9/5, then add 32. For this problem, let's use the letter C to be our variable for the temperature in Celsius. If we follow what the problem says, we take that variable, C, multiply it by 9/5, and add 32. Let's say that the temperature I was trying to convert was 20 degrees Celsius. I would plug that 20 in where my C is in my expression. So that would be 20 times 9/5 plus 32. Then I just need to follow the order of operations. I would multiply first and then add. I would end up with 68 degrees. All right, campers, there's some examples of what you'll be working on in assignment number 5. Remember, go back in your math journal and look at the notes for assignment 5 if that's helpful. And you can always ask me if you need any help. Good luck.